Alright, back again, Luke here. And today what I thought I'd do is make a little bit of a continuation of the last video that I put up there on my Silent Scope 2 board. Hopefully these videos won't be too boring for most people, but figured I'd give you guys a little bit of an update on this thing here. With this board, this is a 3-layered board, and we'll move this layer out of the way here just so you can take a look at some of the bottom layers underneath this thing. It's quite a massive board, and you know, it's about the size of a PC tower here, maybe a little bit more narrow, but it has 3 boards here and they're all sandwiched on top of each other, and where the Timekeeper RAM is kept is actually on the top board here, which I'll kind of move this away. You can see the different processors on there. There's a 3DFX chip, 2 of them over there in the corner. Pretty nifty, but put this back over here just so I can put the other board on here. And it has this top board, and on top of this board there is a daughter board that clips in on the corner here. Now when you look at the board, it's going to look like this when you first open it up. This will be the first board that you see. You'll have to remove the screws on this top part here in order to get at the Timekeeper RAM, which is located under here. And it's located in this space right here. Now, if you guys can take a look at it, there are some very, very fine traces on here. These are like hairline traces, and these can easily be pulled out. But the Timekeeper RAM itself is this guy here. Has a little bit of weight to it, but it has a lithium battery inside it. You can see the bottom. It's just a regular EEPROM here, or mask ROM, but I guess the top side contains the battery and it's all patched in there. I have no idea what it looks like exactly on the inside here, but as far as the legs go, it's basically just the same as a mask ROM. And it does take a little bit of work to get this thing out. It really wasn't that difficult. If you look at the holes on here, these are very, very fine holes. And to let you know what I did to get this thing out is I didn't really use that much extra solder. Luckily, the solder that was on there just took a little bit of heating up, and then after it was heated up, it would kind of bubble a little bit, and then I used my solder sucker, which is this tool here, to go over it and just yeah, taking off the different points. The one thing I've always found on any kind of mask ROM or any kind of EEPROM, and basically any kind of chip at all, even if it's a regular IC or whatnot, the 2 grounding pins on the ends, the far end, top left corner and bottom right corner, these things are the hardest to get out. They just never want to come out. They are usually just stuck right in there, and they're the ones where you actually have to add a little bit of extra solder to them in order to get the pins cleared out. So that's what happened with this one. Got all of these things cleared out, except for this one here in the upper left and this one in the lower right. And by using this this particular solder sucker here, it's really good. It really pulls the solder out. But what it does when you hit the lever is it kind of bumps this, right? It bumps the board, which causes the soldering pen to leave some divots sometimes in the. You can see up here the little light green parts here. This is where the soldering pen itself left a mark because the board jumped. So what I recommend doing if you're using this kind of solder sucker, there are many different kinds. There are some that are actually attached to the soldering pen itself. I would recommend going on the outside here. As you can see, there are fine traces on the inside. What you don't want to do is put your soldering pen on the inside and then put this on the outside, because when it hits, the soldering pen hits, it might break the trace. So try and put it on the outside here where it doesn't have any chance to break any of these traces. Now there was a couple of them here where I really couldn't help it. These 2 last ones where they're on both sides, and there are traces even on both sides of those. So I was really careful there, and you know, it still made a mark. But when I was using my my meter here to test continuity with it, it was working fine. You know, I was able to find that the trace hadn't been damaged at all. But definitely want to go around the outside here if possible. You don't want to get on the inside here and try and break these traces. Much better to go on the outside. But yeah, I just went around all the points and I pulled the solder off of them. What I usually do after I pull the solder off of is I wiggle the legs like this back and forth, and I do it multiple times, you know, just wiggling it back and forth. And if they crack just a little, you can hear them go like just a small little crack. That's good. Usually means it's separating from the socket itself. and you know, go across that a few dozen times, and then I flipped the board over, and you know, I just slightly tried to pull on this thing, and it felt really tight still, so I was really worried. But I knew all the holes were completely cleaned out. So then what I did is I lightly, very lightly, oh sorry, this thing is in like so. I'll just put it on the edge here because I don't know if it's still got any life to it. I don't want it grounding anything out or, you know, doing anything crazy. But it was in here like this. Actually, it was like this. And when I tried to pull it out, it wasn't coming out. So I lightly, using a plastic flathead screwdriver. It looked like a plastic flathead screwdriver. Just slightly lifted up using this here, just as kind of like a fulcrum, and it started sliding right up. And then after that, just slowly wiggled it up like this, and then popped right out. So I was able to get that out of there. So the next thing to do on this is to get a socket to put in there. And once I get a socket fitted for that, then I'll be able to hopefully, if parts are willing and yeah, I'm able to find the correct codes. There's a few people who have been helping me out, which is pretty awesome. If I can get the correct info on this thing and be able to burn a new chip, get that in there, then it should work out. Yeah, it should work out all right. So, but I figured I'd let you guys just have a bit of an update as to what's going on with the board. And yeah, that's the Timekeeper RAM. Man, I hate these things. Anything with lithium batteries in it, or any kind of battery, you know, just all in due time, it's bound to fail. And it's usually one of those things where it fails quite, you know, fast compared to the other components on the board. And it's quite frustrating. So, I don't know, hopefully we'll be able to get this thing up and running sometime soon. I'm going to try and get a socket in there, maybe a makeshift socket. I might have to cut a couple of pins off an old socket that I have. I do have a couple of sockets located in my my bag here somewhere. I know there's a socket in there somewhere, but yeah, I'll get something fitted. I'll get that resoldered in there, and then from there I'll wait and see if I can get any info or any help on the code that we might need for, or that we're going to need for this chip, and then find out what kind of chip it needs, and see about, I don't know, getting this thing programmed. I have to get a one-time programmable RAM chip or something like that. I don't know. But we'll give it a go nonetheless. But I figured I'd share that with you guys for right now. And yeah, that's about all for me for right now. Like always, I'll put up another video here soon. So thanks for watching.